friends. I just wanted to show you a little bit before we started the actual movie because I'm going to speak a little bit about how I prepare the horse for the jumps. But I also wanted to share something what I start with. So it's not that I go in and do handwork and just go in and do jumps. I do a preparation. And for Saxo, for example, this is Saxo. He's a 17-year-old, I think, 17-year-old Fredericksburg stallion. We've been together for a very, very long time. And for him, when I start him in my everyday training, most of the times what I check with the basic lunging, I just did walk, trot, canter, is that I feel that he can be responsible for something. So, for example, with Saxo, he's a very insecure horse. So he gets insecure if I put too much pressure on him, if I come with too many eights at the same time. But he can also get a little bit insecure when I don't help him. So the first thing I check when I start with the basic lunging is mainly to see if he can stay responsible for some things. So with Saxo, I just gave him a direction. I told him in which circle he should be in. I gave him a gait and I gave him a distance. And I just saw if he can keep it. And if I start with Saxo and I feel that he have a hard time keeping that responsibility, I also know that that's not a day when I'm going and push him more. So today he felt quite okay. I can send him on the circle, I can give him a gait, and I can give him the direction that I want him to be in. And I'm not very picky about anything, just these three things: direction, gait, and distance. I'm not super picky about the stelling and the bending and all this. I'm just focusing on, can you be responsible what I ask you to be responsible with? And today he could that. And for me, that's a good way of checking him, because that's a good preparation to start with Saxo. Then later on in the training, of course, I go in and I put more and more aids in. I guide him more where he's supposed to be, and then I also can see how he's responding to pressure and aids, and feeling that he's comfortable with that also. So we're going to continue on a little bit, and I'm going to explain my way in how I got to the point where I can come to the school jumps. But we'll take a break and I will change some equipment and we'll come back. So now we have another equipment, because we're going to speak a little bit how I check the aids. The first thing I want to speak about is when I work my horses, of course, I'm interested in how the horse is taking the aids. If the horse understands the whip and the rein and the bit and all the equipment that I have, so that the horse understands the secondary aids. But I'm also very picky about, with my horses, in how, not just what the horse is answering, also how the horse is answering with my aids. So when the horse have a basic education and we come further on education and we put more energy into the horse, it's even more important to see how the horse is responding to my aids. Because when I work with Saxo, I know that he's an insecure horse, and if I put more energy into that horse, with him, that level of going from being energetic or being stressed are very, very thin. So if I work him too much and I don't really care about in how he's answering, he will very easily go into a stress mode, and he will not think at all, and he will be super quick and go very quickly to crazy. And he's been a special boy for many years. Now he's a little bit more of a older gentleman, so he's a little bit better mentally, and we have a lot of work together and many years. So the first thing we need to understand when I give aids on my horses is that there are, with Saxo and of course all other horses, there are for me two ways in how the horse can take that aid. They can be reactive. That's Saxo is specialist at that. And what I mean when I say reactive, so for example, let's say that I give a whip aid, and Saxo, if he answer, I give the aid, he's doing the exercise, plus he goes up a little bit in the energy level, that's a reactive state of mind. Then I cannot just continue working with that state of mind. because I know when I go further up and want to do the piaf work or the jumps or whatever, I know that I have no really way of calming the horse down with keeping the aids on. Because if I give it a whip aid, he's answering to the aid, plus he goes up in energy, then it will very quickly go to stress. And the main thing is that the problem, what was that created more stress and energy level? It was the aid. So what I need with Saxo, when I put aids on him, I show the aid, he thinks, and he acts slowly. Because if I know if he acts a little bit slower on the aids, then I know I can add more energy and I can reduce energy, even when I have the aids on. So it is important, of course, how he's answering on the aid, what he's doing when I show the aid, if he can take the haunches in, for example, but also how he's responding to the aid. So I want him, so this calm answer, that's a responding state of mind. I show the aid, he thinks, he acts slowly. If he's in a reactive state of mind, I show the aid, he's doing the exercise, he can do it very, very fast and very, very light, but he also goes up more in energy, and with him it's very easily goes over to the stress. And then I need to work on that I can touch him, he can think, he acts slowly, because I need that later on when I come to higher education. So we're going to continue on a little bit, and I'm going to explain the steps that I need to work on with higher collection and stuff like that. And I try to focus on the same thing like I showed you on the last field, that I have a horse that is willingly searching me. So I know that even if I don't hold in him, I don't want to have the feeling that I need the hand for starting and stopping and turning and all other stuff. I want to use my hand later on. But like we spoke about the last film, it's a big difference of using the hand or depending on the hand. So here at least I know that I'm not depending on the hand to turn or start or stop. He's following. So he's just comfortable in this. He can start and he can stop and he can turn, and he's searching me. So when he's comfortable with this, of course I continue on a little bit with feeling that I can influence on him. I know I can turn the shoulder a little bit in. I know I can turn the shoulder a little bit out. He's responding to the whip. So I can take the haunches in. I can take the haunches a little bit out. And here today, Saxo feels okay. He's calm and he's well responding to the aid. He doesn't go up in energy level, and that's very common with Saxo, that he can go up very quickly in energy and very easily go to stress. But today he feels quite okay. So right now, again, I'm not super picky about what he's doing, just more actually in how he's responding to my aid. And today he feels quite okay. Same thing, feeling that he's comfortable with me in different positions, lunging position, from inside, from outside, so that I know that he's calm wherever I are. Same here, feeling that I can move the shoulders a little bit and seeing that he's responding to which leg I'm asking him to take. Good. So here I know, I feel that, okay, he can take my age, he takes the rein, he takes the leg, the weight as a leg aid, he's responding to the hand, he's calm, and he thinks. So the thing I check later, and then after this, is again the balance between the hand and the whip, and feeling that he can respond in a very good way. So I'm going to just check him a little bit and feeling that he can respond to my aids. So I can start by the wall, for example. And we check this again. That was a little bit too much, but still good in responding. So here again, the balance between the hand and the whip, and how I can activate the hind legs a little bit, and taking the half halt, it's quite nice. We check here also to the right and feeling that he's comfortable with. And with Saxo here, what he often have a tendency to do is that when I do a school halt to the right, what's often happening with him is that he's putting himself on the haunches, but he's leaning a little bit too much back. So we can sometimes see that if he's doing to the right, Saxo, don't scratch, and then the front leg goes too much forward. And I want to see, because when I come to the jumps, then the balance between the hand and how he can take the whip for getting the jump is extremely important, that it is in a good balance. And with Saxo, he's such powerful and he have a lot of energy and very easily go to the stress. So the jump is often not a problem. But to catch him in the jump so that he don't just jump and throw himself down on the shoulder, that's most of the challenge that we have. So I will try once again and show you what I check when this happened, and this also gives me a good indication for how what I need to do before I even start thinking of him doing a jump today. So we'll try the school halt one more time, because the school halt to the right I was not super satisfied with. So we'll try the school halt again. We take tiny haunches in, and we see if we can get him again to take activity. That was actually better, because here is lifting more here. So we'll see if he can do it one more time. There the front leg is too much forward. Then we see if I can give tiny halt in that and see if I can correct that so that, yes, good. Good. So that I see that if I give a slight half halt, a little bit backward, upwards, I can look at that the front leg drags in the sand a little bit backwards and he lifts more here. So we're going to take that one more time. A little bit activity. There he's changing the front leg a little bit, and he was at least correcting himself and listening to the hand. So this with leaning with the front legs a little bit more forward, this is extremely common. We see this a lot, and especially if you're an instructor, you will see a lot of students getting this problem. You can correct it with the hand, so with him, he understands the hand well enough that I can take the hand a little bit backward upwards, and I can lift the chest more, and he takes the front leg backwards. Most horses, if they are not extremely good at the hand, they will just lean more backwards. Then it's better to feel like, okay, the horse thinks too much backward, I need a little bit more activity from the whip, so that he can step into the halt. And that will help him to lift the chest more. Yeah. So with him, when the horse was leaning a little bit too much backward, the front leg was too much forward, but the better option is actually to see if I can go a little bit more activity from behind and see if I can get him to step a little bit more into the halt. So we'll see if we can get him to taking up a little bit. That was almost croupade instead, and there we have it. That was better. Good. Good. So there we have a little bit more activity, and he lifts the chest a little bit more. And that round feeling that I look on here is extremely important that I have before I even start thinking about the jumps. Because if he start going into school halt or towards the levad, and he drops this part down, so he can bend, but sometimes he's dropped the chest anyway. If I ask him to jump in that moment, he will go, and he will lose it too much. So I need that round feeling before I start with the jump. Good boy. Nice pony. So we're gonna speak now. We have checked the hand, we have checked that he can activate the hind legs a little bit. This film, I'm not super picky about anything, I just want the explanation. I'm not going after perfection, I just want to show you what I'm thinking about when I do the preparation. So when I started the jumps with him, this is many years ago, I had no clue what I was doing, nothing. So he did a school halt and he could do a levad, and I came to the point I was like, yeah, maybe we can come to the jump also one day. So he was in the levad, I went touch, and he went poof, and he was everywhere. So that taught me something. If I had just thought about that and thought, okay, he was not ready, and we stop with this, then we will never get to the jumps. But that first jump also told me something. So he was too reactive because he went, wow, too much crazy. When I asked him to do the jump, he was not good enough on the hand, and he could not really catch himself with the hind leg. So then I made a lot of preparation for 1.5 years, and then I come back again to the jumps. So I have, with this pony, I need him to get to the jumps. I need him to be absolutely as calm as possible. So he's always been a horse that's very easy to get powerful, but much harder to get to calm down. And for him to do the jump, that was the easy part. To get somewhat of a landing on the hind legs, that took a long time because I needed him to be calm enough. So I'm going to show you two different ways of approaching into the jumps. I'm going to show one approach with Saxo, and I'm going to show another approach with Ikaros, just to explain that I need a little bit different approaches in getting the jumps. And I need different preparation for getting the jumps. So what I see in the last couple of years with me, Marius and Bent, we have talked a lot about that we have preparation for everything else. We have preparation in groundwork of teaching the horse the secondary aids, we have preparation for riding, we have preparation for collection, but for the jumps we were very new at it. But I think that we get closer and closer in how we can prepare a horse in a certain way so it will be easier for him to come to the point where he can do a jump. So with Saxo, the main thing is for him that he can stay calm. So we will see if I can get him to do one jump, hopefully not too many. So first of all, we need a little bit power. And we check with the school halt, feeling that he's, yes, good, Saxo. So there he's lifting nicely. And then we see if we can do a right jump. Remember. Good. So there he was calm, and there he did a small jump. Doesn't have to be super high. I'm just happy that he's calm enough. And when we do the jump, it's not that the horse can jump. We need a right jump, we need a left jump, and we need a straight jump. So for him right now, this was the right jump. So if you look at the picture with the film of how he did it, he was first lifting his inside front leg, so he went up, then he went into the closer to the levad, and then the jump came. So he was in a right bending, doing a right jump. Then I must be able to see if I can do a left jump. Because if I cannot do left and right jump and a straight jump, it's going to be very hard to do a transition. So if he can only do a left jump, then it's going to be hard to do a jump and then immediately come into a right canter, for example. So I need also to be able to, even when I put more energy into the horse and prepare him for the jump, he still needs to listen. Place the hip here, be with the shoulder here. So it's a lot of information that needs to happen before I get to the jump. And then we'll see if we can do the left jump also. And we just want one jump where he can stay as calm as he possibly can. So, and that's often the tricky part, especially with this guy, to keep him calm enough so he can think all the way through the jump. So it's not jump crazy and then he goes very hectic afterwards. So we do the same preparation. Oi, that was canter. First, school halt. So we have a left school halt. Remember? That was not maybe the best jump. We try that one more time. That was better. Sorry, my friend. So here I use the wall a little bit to help the horse to see that, and some jumps is okay, some jumps are not so good, but what I like the fact, what I like with at least what he's doing today, is that he thinks, he stay calm. Because you can also see horses that do jumps that they don't think, they just go in, bam, and then the horse is very hectic afterwards. And I don't like that feeling in my horses. I want that he understand what he's supposed to do. So at least he can do a jump, he can land, and he thinks, and he's calm afterwards, and he can be like this immediately. So the wall helps me a little bit to place the horse a little bit, and then we'll see if we can do one jump without the wall. And this is way trickier. So I'm going to take him a little bit one-handed. Do a school halt. Good. So at least he's trying in there, and he's trying to place himself where I asked him to be. He tried to come up with the left front leg, so I took him a little bit in the wrong back, and then I asked him to do a small jump and at least see if he can stay calm and land. We'll try one jump with the other hand and see if we can do the same. Saxo. Good. So there we also have the jump to the right and to the left, also without the wall. And we can do it better. It can definitely be a lot worse. So what I'm at least happy with him here is that he can stay calm enough. And for him, that responding state of mind, staying calm, that was the main goal for him to, the main thing for him to actually get to the jump. So I have piaffe, a little bit school halt, piaffe, levad, jump, land, and become afterwards. So when Saxo have the jumps from the ground, and the jumps, I don't do them very often. I can do it maybe once a week because I know it's also a little bit hard for him mentally to keep relaxed and do it. So most of the time it's basic, lunging, riding, relaxed, and then of course we check the jump also. But I thought that I could show the jump also under rider. It's the same principle. I need him to understand the legs and the hand, and I need a good balance between this so that I can get the jump and get somewhat of a good landing. So I will see if I can just get a jump to the left and a jump to the right and survive, hopefully. We'll see. That will be good. So we try. Yeah. Sorry, Saxo. We have talked and now we need a can. Nu får vi gå. Ja, nu får vi gå. Är du med? Är du med? Good. That was a left jump, small jump, but still a jump. And I'm not going for the big super jump. I just want that it's the same here. I want to understand what he's doing. And let's see if we can do one jump here to the right. Little hunches in. Good. So that was a right jump and also quite okay landing. He was standing a little bit, and I don't focusing on keeping him as long as possible because he thinks it's a little bit stressful and he thinks it's hard. So I just want him that he can jump, land, and then just go down and long reins. And for me, this I'm most happy with. He can do a lot of power, the jump, and for him that's very easy, a stressful exercise. But I know I can give him long reins, he can stretch forward, down, and he can just be calm about it. So I got a question several times why I don't go for example, the ballotade and the capriole and other jumps with him. And maybe one day I will, but I'm not willing to do a jump where I have to sacrifice the feeling that I want in my horse. So I know if I go too quick and do higher jump and more jump and all this, I would very easily lose him mentally. And for me, it's important that I keep the mentality that I want in the horse and that he understands the education. So I'm not willing to get education-wise, just I get to the capriole, but I lose the horse mentally. Then I rather stay to my principles and what I believe in. So I rather come maybe always to the top jump-wise. But if I don't, I really don't care. For me, I just want to have a nice time with my horse, and I'm not willing to sacrifice that to get to another jump. I'm more than happy with what he can do right now, and if we can in 5 years do a capriole, for example, okay, it would be fun. If it's not, if we don't get there, I really don't care. I like him like we are now, and I like the fact that he's so relaxed and can take the information. So I'm super proud about him. He's been a challenge from day one, but we got there. So now he's super nice.
Yeah, good. Ja, du var så duktig.